Chief, you're at ground zero right now for what has been occurring on the southwest border for probably the largest invasion in American history. Americans are watching you across the nation right now. What do you want them to know?
Well, Jason, I'd want them to know that Texas is doing their part. The Texas State Police, the Texas National Guard is out here picking up the slack. We're out here helping our brothers and sisters in the United States Border Patrol. As you can see, 10,000 apprehensions a day, and who knows what number of gotaways. It's come to this. I mean, we are facing what we all anticipated, right, with the end of Title 42. And I think it's evident. You can see the manpower it's taken out here to put this effort up. We've got helicopters, we've got Marine units, we've got National Guard, Highway Patrol units, criminal investigation, Texas Rangers, drone teams, and I mean we're putting everything we have as a state out here for Operation Lone Star.
The federal government has failed to do the job that state of Texas has now stepped up to do. This is unprecedented.
It is. I mean, we're looking at about a $4 billion operation. We shouldn't really have to be doing this, but as you can see with all of this, helicopters and personnel and boats is what it takes to come in here and create a deterrent, right? So Texas is a prideful state, and we've got prideful people, and we've got, an inherent responsibility to protect our southern border, and we're not going to ask permission to do it.
I would like to know how anybody thinks that this type of immigration on this massive scale is good for our country in any way. Like, really, I know that this is a nation built on immigrants, right? Yeah. And that's great. And in fact, in the Declaration of Independence, it talks about bring us, you're sick, you're hungry, come here, come, right? But there's a right way to do it. And the legal process has become so convoluted and it's broken. So therefore you have the illegal immigration. Yeah. But you have the federal law set against the state law, kind of like we've seen with cannabis, has happened that way, where that creates a bunch of problems where the federal laws are at odds with the state laws, and or even the emphasis of enforcing the law on a federal level versus enforcing the law on a state level. And Texas has to bear the brunt of this. Arizona, too, being a border state. New Mexico. New Mexico doesn't seem to care as much because a little more different politically than Arizona and Texas generally are. But really, though, the overwhelming flood of people coming into the country, there's only so many resources we have to spend on this. Yeah. And Texas as a state has to is bearing the brunt of a lot of this. Where do those resources come from? And the federal government's not going to back them. And really, how do you have a country that is secure if you don't have integral borders? How do you maintain the integrity of your country if you just let anybody in? They found this morning, we saw that there were 4 people found on the terrorist watch list that were found trying to sneak across the border.
Fox News has learned exclusively that an Afghan national on the FBI's terror watch list was arrested in Border Patrol's San Diego sector after agents caught him crossing with a group of migrants. CBP sources tell Fox it happened Wednesday near Otay Mesa, inland San Diego County, near Tijuana. Those sources say the Afghan's fingerprints matched to the terror watch list in a federal database, that the FBI confirmed the match, and it is now handling the case. The arrest happened in Congressman Darrell Iss's district.
He did not intend to be caught. He thought he would get through because the open border policy is now globally understood to be pretty much a free entry for 5 million plus people a year.
And that's just what they found or what they're willing to tell us.
And that's just today. That's just today.
It's crazy.
There's a ton. We know there's a flood of Chinese immigrants that are coming through. I mean, is China invading us?
In the surge of migrants illegally crossing the Mexico-U.S. border, there's now a growing number of Chinese nationals who are traveling halfway across the world, transiting through a dozen countries to make it to the border and into America.
What are the motivations that our current administration have for keeping the border unprotected the way they have? We know that drugs are flooding across the border. We know human trafficking is occurring. There was a girl, poor little 8-year-old girl, found with 67 different DNA samples inside her. Jeez. She's been raped by 67 freaking people. Like, that kind of stuff just happens. Nobody stops it. Like, seriously, even if you are somebody seeking for a better life, how do you allow that to happen? Yeah. If you're part of that movement, like, how do you allow that kind of crap? Like, do you have no basic human decency? Yeah. Like, what really though? So it's one of those things it's a very difficult, emotionally charged thing, because yes, do we want immigrants? Yes, we do. Right? We do. That's how our nation was founded. That's how our nation continues to grow and thrive. Yes, we do. Right? But do we want this mess that we have right now? No, it's a terrible disaster.
Yeah.
So, and people are dying. People are getting, again, trafficked, raped, drugs are pouring through.
And the way the media pushes it.
Or doesn't cover it.
Or doesn't. I've seen it from both sides. So I've seen the Democrats push it as Republicans want this to happen so that they can use these people as cheap labor.
Right.
And then I see the Republican side saying these are all the Democratic votes coming in.
Right. Which, I mean, okay. Going back to Occam's razor, right? The simplest answer usually is the most correct.
Yeah.
So what is the net effect of all these people getting granted citizenship? They're going to have loyalty towards the party that gave them that. But again, if you continue seeing something repeating itself, you have to ask yourself, what is the net result? And once we know the net result of these actions, then we know the intent of the actions.
Yeah.
Right. And so the intent of the actions has to be that we want to flood the country with people from other countries. So we want to flood the country with immigrants. And they know the effect of that is going to be, in fact, the mayor of Chicago just said, hey, we can't take any more.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot appearing on CNN this morning, one day after she sent this letter to Texas Governor Greg Abbott, urging him not to send any more migrants, pleading, quote, I am yet again appealing to your better nature and asking that you stop this inhumane and dangerous action.
We are completely tapped out. We have no more space, no more resources. And frankly, we're already in a surge. We've been seeing over the last week, 200 plus people coming to Chicago every single day.
Well, that's interesting. Why don't you encourage the people that think like you and vote like you and are of your same party to do something about it, rather than just trying to flood Texas and Arizona.
Well, and that's
all these
in
other
Chicago. I mean, what's it like in Texas and Arizona? Like these, these border states. Well, and how terrifying. Can you imagine living close to the border and at night you've got floods of people that are running across your property, and who knows if they're desperate enough to try to break into your house or steal their things on your property, or
we do have, very close personal friends, even before this was happening, 10 years ago, that lived closer to the border than we currently do. And they did have people approach their home. Yeah. And that was when we were enforcing the border and we weren't just having to be open like this. And that was back when Border Patrol could capture people and deport them. And even in that time, they had people approach their property and they had to defend themselves from it. And it was scary. And they were, only probably an hour away from a policeman being able to get to them. As soon as you call 911, the cops were probably only an hour away. Right? So yeah, absolutely. These things are happening. Now, that's not to say there might be some really great people coming across the border that are really going to add to value to the American culture and, the culture of the United States. I'm confident there probably are. They're have to be smart, gifted individuals that genuinely do want to have a better life. And those people, I understand 90% of those types of people typically do want to be a perfect American citizen. They want to be here. They want to obey the law. They want to vote. They want to work. They want to contribute to the system. They want to pay taxes. They want to do it all. 90%. But that 10% of millions of people, that's hundreds of thousands of bad actors coming into the country and hundreds of thousands of crime committing people that are hell-bent on not being good, productive citizens. And that's a big problem when you think of it on the numbers or the scale of the numbers of how many people are coming across that are not having good intentions. Yeah. Even though it is only, I've heard 10% of the people, that's still a big freaking number.
Well, and the drain on resources, like was said, we don't have the resources to be able to sustain that. It is not sustainable. So who's going to pay the price?
And again, so it kind of makes you wonder the intention.
Right.
Why are we letting this happen?
Yeah.
All right.
Frustrating.
Well, we want to know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. We're not trying to launch a war or go political here or anything, but we would like to know what you think, because honest discourse and being able to speak freely Even if you have a different opinion, that's what makes America strong. That's what makes us great. It is the culture of, if someone says something you disagree with, that you're going to try to end their ability to speak freely or end their ability to provide for their family. That is not constructive. That's going to come back and bite you in the ass too. Mm-hmm. So honest discourse, open discussion, don't be haters, be good. We want to hear your comments. And then don't forget to do your part. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Clickety click. And we'll see you next time on The Value Script.